Hi, today is Friday, May 24th, 2024. Today is the big day, big F day. It's my payday. Yes, today I get paid. Probably the money is in my account already. My company, KT Korea Telecom, the number one carrier in Korea, always transfers the money. My salary early in the morning, just like a 3 or 4. So I'm sure that about 7,000 US dollars in my bank account today. I'm still in the red, but that's for another video, another story. Today I'm going to read this article to practice English by focusing on the pronunciation and also trying to memorize the new words, old cliches words that I already know. So here we go. The effects of the absent father on daughters. Charles McCullagh, follow, okay. Published in a different perspective, 5-minute read, February 23rd, 2023. The seminar topic, it was a considerable interest to me because a number of daughters in my family have endured absent fathers either due to war or abandonment. I will explore some biographic issues at the end of this piece. First, more details about the psychology of this abandonment. The seminar was offered via Zoom by the C.G. Jung, right? I think maybe Jung, the famous the psychologist, Jung Foundation in New York City, and taught by Susan Schwartz, Jungian and clinical psychologist. Okay, Jungian or Jungian. I think Jungian is more correct. The instructor got right to the point, suggesting that the absent or inadequate father often results in insecurity of self, the splintering and disintegration of personality, and the silencing of voice. Dr. Schwartz emphasized early on that there are always to break out of this sense of betrayal, abandonment, and loss, including the application of personal stories, dreams, fairy tales, and poetry. The instructor pointed out that a conscious awareness and perhaps reminders of the absent father can be most harmful to the daughter if not properly handled. Jung has written that the father is decisive in the destiny of the individual, and over-identification with or ignorance of the absent father can have serious ramifications. The daughter has a hole in her heart. Damn. In turn, this can play on her unconscious feeling-toned complexes. What is it? Like a tone, right? I don't like your tone of speech, right? Tone. And the symbols in her dreams. These complexes could result in a range of projections on the part of the daughter, from imagining herself as a daddy's little girl to envisioning a negative father complex or the dead father effect. Instructor Schwartz emphasized that the father is supposed to foster emotional life in the daughter. Rather, there is often an emptiness, confusion, and denial of autonomy, and part of remains unconscious. In turn, this state can distance the daughter from other males and slow confusion about attachments generally, creating disturbed relationships. The relationship with a father is crucial for the process of individuation, coming to a fuller understanding of psychological health and healing. The absence can result in a shattering of the psyche and loss of body consciousness and positive self-image. And a negative father can be a form of self-punishment and self-tyranny. Dr. Schwartz says it's quite understandable in these circumstances that a daughter would carry the shadow, the weight of an absent father that can have an archetypal weight. Her advice is to identify the internal father image and have a conversation with that entity. Yeah, not bad. This is particularly important if a daughter realizes the father, which is often the case. If a daughter idealizes the father, which is often the case. I am less, you are more. Sometimes the language might be direct and harsh. Daddy, you bastard, I am through. The instructor suggests that we don't spend our life giving out blood to an absent father. The objective is to manage without a father. And certainly, therapy can be central to recovery. An absent father can still project negative traits, and a daughter might long for a father who had never existed. I couldn't help but think during this seminar of the daughters in my family who has lost fathers in war or by abandonment. My mother had 7 children with 3 men, 3 daughters and 4 sons. Not 4 sons, that's typo. 4 sons. Here, I will focus on my sister Pat, who died recently at age 93. She seemed to suffer the most from the death of her father when she was about 5. She had vague memories of him moving in out of rooms. Then he died from wounds suffered in World War I, and she and 2 siblings were sent to an orphanage. After a few years, she was sent home to die from diphtheria. She survived. As she would the Battle of Britain with the rest of the clan. She then married an American GI and moved to the States. Years later, he would commit suicide, still in pain from his experiences in the Battle of the Bulge. The last time I spoke to him, shortly before his death, he said, "These women are killing me." He clearly had a problem with women and the feminine, but that is another discussion. Over the years, I grew very close to Pat, and we had many conversations about her dead father and husband and how she handled the loss and the pain. She was very religious and constantly prayed for the 2 men. My sister, a gentle soul, seemed to take a kind of distant, archetypal view of the father, who gave his life for his country. This did not appear to be a struggle. Psychologist Schwartz discussed how daughters who lack a father figure can break out of idealization, betrayal, and abandonment and find repair and renewal. She mentions the use of dreams, personal stories, fairy tales, poetry, and the like. well, I recommend the Avatar course by Harry Palmers. This advice reminded me of the many times I shared dreams with Pat, as well as poetry. In one of our last conversations, she spoke about sailing to America in 1946 under Queen Mary and praying for the dead sailors who had been lost at sea along the ship's route. During the war, she has worked at the British Admiralty and kept updated the map of Navy losses. Pat was 92 when she told me this, that had all the solemnity of a prayer. Solemnity, abandonment, archetypal. At about the same time, Pat mentioned a dream she had of the prophet Ezekiel, who seemed to be opening up the heavens to admit her late husband, father, and others. Shortly after her death, I had a dream of my sister's face that seemed to be wearing a headset of a goddess. Toward the end of her life, I sensed my sister has entered a mythical, ethereal realm. I treat these and related issues more fully in my novel When War Becomes Us, to be published in the fall of this year. Interesting. I will close with a poem about my sister, the cartography of her loving face. The cartography of her loving face. I can almost hear the Ohio River that has washed away decades of pain lap against the room where we sit, knees almost touching as my sister, her eyes and face watery with time, and liquid memory that has crossed oceans, deserts of loneliness, and war remembers. Her father's final words spoken through lungs coated with chlorine gas, then the letting go with the children cast to the winds as winter settles in. She still hears the air raid sirens in her dreams and remembers waking among the rubble and the dead after the German planes left the skies of London. Her face displays this cartography with a grace and patience that seems ethereal, as if something sacred and almost holy has come from these precious moments of pain. The man survived the Battle of the Bulge with honor and came to her, then sailing to America with a bride, medals, and wounds. I hear the Ohio River again. My sister weeps for those who have lived and died within the arc of her knowing. Good expression. If it is as if I fall into her anguish, which is a vibrant letting go, and the closest thing to prayer I have witnessed in some time. Fatherhood, Father and Daughter's Psychology, Abandonment, written by Charles McCullagh, 515 followers, writer for a different perspective. James Charles McCullagh is a writer, editor, poet, and media specialist. He was born in London, served in the U.S. Navy, and received a PhD from Lehigh University. So I think she's now American, right? I served in the U.S. Army for 2.5 years as a Korean soldier. So I feel affinity to him. Hey, Charles, if you do have time, contact me or include me in your friends list on Facebook. You can find me Hyungsam Park, PAHK, or my ID is Thanks Park. Thank you, right? Thanks Park. This article is not deep. It's just brief touch on the psychology about the absent father. From this article, I learned such expressions as abandonment, archetypal. What else? Yeah, I know those words, but what else? Man, my dotage, man. And also this person's name, this writer's name, McCullagh. Cartography, archetypal, right? Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful Friday. I have to go to work now on foot. Yes, I commute on foot.